Welcome to the Ascended Thread podcast, higher guidance woven into everyday life in healing. I'm Andrea Clem, owner of The Way Home to You,
And I'm Dana Swazo, the owner of One Thread Healing.
and I'm so excited to introduce my dear friend Pam Holland today. Pam is the founder of Mindful Decluttering and Organization and has been helping people release both physical and emotional clutter since 2005. Her work blends mindful decluttering, emotional support, and compassionate organization to help people create homes and lives that feel lighter, calmer, and more aligned. And I've got to say, I personally have worked with Pam as well, and it's really true. It's not only just, hey, let's clear this space. There was so much energy and thoughtfulness brought into the process that it's amazing. So, with all that said, welcome, Pam. Thank you for being a guest today.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yay. Dana and I were talking actually early in the month about what are some topics. And with spring cleaning, Dana thought, spring cleaning, let's talk about that. And also energetic cleaning. And I said, oh, I love the topic and I know the perfect person. So, Pam, I don't know if you want to start by maybe telling us how you got into this.
I can
And
do that.
great.
All right. Well, as this has happens to so many entrepreneurs, I got let go from a job. So I'm walking with my dear friend Peggy. We walked every morning, and we're trying to figure out what am I going to do with myself. And Peggy says, I think you should organize people. And I'm like, okay, do people get paid to do that? This was in 2005, mind you. There was no Marie Kondo home edit, any of that stuff. So, found out that it was indeed a profession, hung up some flyers at the video shop at the local restaurant and the co-op, and that's how my business began.
Wow. I love that. I love that. So, one thing that you do really focus on is the energetic of our items and this attachment and things we have to it. Do you want to maybe go into that a little bit and what kind
Sure.
of sets you apart from other people that might be in your industry that way?
Yeah. Well, I believe that there's little tiny strands of energy connecting us to each and everything that we own in our home, in our house, in our car, in our purse. And I don't say that to scare you, but I say that to let you know that there's all kinds of possibilities for reclaiming that energy. And I'll give you one example. I worked with a client who was also a friend, and we worked together just once. She was in a big transition and she was having, it was sad that she was leaving something that she had loved, but she knew it was time. She got rid of a bunch of books and teaching materials from her old career. And I kid you not, within a day, she had a new job.
Mhm.
Now, I can't promise that every time. But she also was in the right mindset. She was
Mhm.
ready. She was ready.
Yeah.
So, when you're ready, the resources will come. And they can come these days in many, many forms. They can come in a YouTube video, they can come in a blog post, they can come in Instagram. So the little tiny strands. And then there's also, I have a little diagram, but I can explain it pretty readily. As clutter accumulates, energy stagnates. You've probably experienced that. You got this pile in the corner. I'm going to deal with that today. And then just like, yeah, no, I'm not. So, so as clutter accumulates, energy stagnates. As energy stagnates, often more clutter accumulates. And then it becomes a not so happy cycle. And you open the door to the guest room and you're going to do it, and then you just close the door. However, there's a positive cycle too. And that is you decide that you're just going to take 5 minutes or make that space 1% better. And you find a way through just one little thing. Maybe it's just picking up the trash, or maybe it's just putting the laundry in the laundry hamper, or actually in the washing machine. And all of a sudden, you can feel that you can do this. And then, then that cycle begins in a very positive way. You reclaim energy. Now, that energy doesn't have to be used to do more decluttering. It can be. It can also be used to create new jobs, new relationships, new opportunities. I mean, it's energy. It's your life force energy.
Hmm.
You can do whatever you want to with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
that's sort of
Pam,
my premise.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And Pam, you talking about how your friend, once she kind of released that, she then like an opportunity came up right away. I also feel like that's why some people have a hard time selling their houses and some don't, because it's those who have like energetically like released
Yes.
the home or had the intention like I love you, I'm grateful, you were here for me when you were, and I want you to find the perfect buyer. Once they release that, and bring that new energy in of, you're going to have a new family that's going to love you, then your house sells like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and selling a home is a perfect example of the kinds of things that I work with people on, and that's transitions. Any kind of transitions. It can be kids moved away and now they're back because they can't afford to live away from home. It's elders coming to live there. It's happy transitions like having a baby or getting remarried, and you've got two households to bring together. So whether it's a expected transition or an unexpected transition, it's still, transitions take energy. They're hard even if they're good.
Mhm.
So I think an important thing is just to be aware of that
Hmm.
and not beat yourself up for that, and give yourself space to do whatever you need to do to, like Dana was saying, get comfortable with that transition to the best of your ability. And you may move to a new home and it could take you a year to get comfortable. I mean, that's very normal. So I'm just riffing, but
Yeah.
do you
No.
have other questions or?
Well, one thing that I actually kind of wanted you to touch on, I know you have a program that works with individual chakras and decluttering too, right? Which that was one of the first things. I think I went to a workshop that you had and I thought, oh my God, how neat is this
Oh yeah,
that you're marrying these two, what to me it's at first seemed totally different things. So
yeah.
um, maybe do you want to,
Yeah, I can talk about that. That was such a fun workshop. It was called the
yeah.
Inner Art of Decluttering. And I just put that chakra chart in there just on a whim. We didn't even really talk about it, but a lot of people were like, drawn to it. What I've done is I've just mapped the chakras to different aspects of decluttering. And for example, it's easy to understand how the root chakra, that's your safety, that's your home, that's feeling secure in your home. If you don't feel secure enough to let go of things that are from your past life, or, an old version of you, then it's difficult. So being aware of that can be helpful. Doing some chakra work with a specialist, which is not me, but but there's plenty out there, a few out there. And yeah, so I just sort of mapped, and one of them is about time and time. It's I don't know how I came up with it really. I don't know what made me think of it. It was years ago, but it's fun to work with, and that material is probably going to be available again later, pretty soon, because I'm
Okay.
switching to a new web provider, and they're gonna reload that course for me.
Oh, awesome. That is good. So anybody that's listening, you might want to look for that in the future because it was really cool. And you also offer other types of courses, right? And I know you have your own YouTube channel as well,
Yeah.
or for tidbits and ways to help people. And another thing is a lot of your clients are virtual, right?
Yes.
So you are able to touch people in really lots of different ways, and you don't even have to be physically with them.
Yeah, and it's really difficult to understand how that could work. And I had been a professional organizer for probably 10 years working hands-on with people, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't see how you could possibly do that. But just before I moved to Colorado, I do still have a business in the DC metro area. I have some organizers there, and when we got ready to move, I thought, well, let me figure this, let me study this. So I did. I took a little course and then I tried it out. I actually did my first virtual organizing by phone in a hotel room when we were driving to Colorado, which was not ideal, but that's just the way it worked out. Normally I do it via Zoom. And the thing is that I don't even have to see your stuff in order for you to tell me how long has that pile been there? What does it represent to you? It's not about the actual objects. It's what does that object mean to you? And why might you want to hold on to it? And I think we should absolutely hold on to things that lift our spirits, bring us joy, take us in the right direction, the direction that we want to go. And sometimes we might know it's time to let go of something, but we're still not ready. And that's okay too. You know, just have to sit with it sometimes and work on some easier things because we do build decluttering muscles, you know. So if you start, people often ask me where to start, so I could talk a little bit about that. Start with something that's really easy. Start with something that you're going to be successful at, because if you're successful at something, then you'll want to do it again. Often people start in the bathroom because there's a bunch of expired stuff. You don't really
Yeah.
care about that. There's no emotional attachment to that. And then you can look at it and go, ooh, look, I can do this. Yeah. And I really encourage people to take pictures, to take like before pictures. You don't have to share them with anybody. But even if it's that bathroom closet, that bathroom cabinet, and you take a picture of it before you got rid of all the expired stuff and sort of move things around a little bit maybe. And then you look at it, you can look at it and just see that there really has been a change.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can totally relate to that bathroom stuff.
It
Because I
seems like
haven't,
the last thing you want to mess with. I mean, it
yeah.
doesn't really matter. I mean, nobody cares, but it's a good training ground.
Right, right. Yeah, because I even thought of that the other day, like maybe I should clean out my bathroom because I could just I know there's probably a lot of expired stuff, and so I can just get rid of it. Same with the pantry, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I love doing pantries. I think pantries are so much fun. And depending on how big they are,
Right.
that they can be overwhelming. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything can be overwhelming if you don't know where to start.
Yes, exactly. That's where the overwhelm starts is when you don't even know where to start, like you said.
Yeah,
That's when you're like kind of going to the yeah.
but
And so
they're
then that's
really
how procrastination happens, right?
yeah.
Because you're like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start. So I'm just not even
So I'm just not
let's just put that
going to.
aside.
But it's really not that scary. I mean, as
Right.
scary things go,
Yeah.
pulling some things out of the pantry.
Right.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be that frightening.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I did, you had done, I want to say it was a declutter power hour at some point in time. Maybe it was on Facebook, but I emptied, it was like my Tupperware drawer or whatever, a shelf. And that didn't seem so bad. But boy, I felt so good afterwards because, I got rid of, for me, it was getting rid of plastic. I had gotten some glass, new Tupperware and different stuff like that, and cleaning out. I was so proud. And it did inspire me because then after that, we actually did my garage, which was
Oh, that's
a
the
lot. It was
A,
really
a
big.
decent sized project.
It was a decent sized project. Yes, it was, because I've been in that house almost 21 years now, too. And that feels so good. I mean, I still enjoy sitting in my garage, which sounds so weird. And it's been over a year,
Wow. Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah. So it really can. It changed the energy of the garage itself. And now it's a really lovely place to be instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I have so much stuff in here. So um, it really does shift a lot internally. It makes you feel proud, or at least it made me feel really proud that I got this big thing accomplished, and it's changed my house overall.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you find garages are overwhelming for people in general?
Garages tend to be dumping grounds.
Yeah, that's a big
And
one.
so many people don't even park their cars in their garages,
Oh, I know. I agree with
you
that.
know? Which, no judgment, but I mean, this is the first time I've ever had a garage, and I'm like, I'm going to park my car in this garage, because of the hail and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it can be very overwhelming, and it is, a good place to get support, whether it's from a professional or just a friend, somebody who can just be there with you and help you talk it through, because a lot of times people just need to say why they're holding on to it. And usually I don't have to help them decide. I mean, you may have experienced this, Andrea. By the time you talk about it for a little bit, you're going, well, I think I know the
right,
answer.
right. But it helps to have somebody to talk through these kind of things because there are different weird attachments to
Yeah,
and it was really helpful. And you also knew different things like how can I get rid of some of this stuff? Because some
yeah,
of the things I didn't really know how to dispose of, or can I still, is this okay to donate and different things. So it was really nice to have that support and a friend to be there with me. So that was lovely. One day we'll start the basement.
Okay, you've said it out loud in public.
I
Um,
said it out loud, yeah.
I will share just one other resource that's really good for that. It's Earth 911, and it's just earth911.org or .com. I can let you know for sure. That is a fantastic resource for figuring out where to get rid of things.
Mhm.
Mm.
You put in your zip code, and it'll tell you, what you can do about paint or stuff like that.
Yeah,
What
good.
what is that again?
It's Earth 911.
Earth 911. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
gonna write it down so that we can put it in the comments. And I'm like, oh,
And I have it on my website too. It's the probably the first resource on my
okay.
website. On my
Okay.
website, I have a whole resources page, and I've got some really weird stuff on there, like where to get rid of guitar strings, where to get rid of bras, where to get, just
Okay.
sort of select, collect.
Well, I'll have to go check out your website. What is your website?
My website is clutterfreenow.com.
And
Okay.
we'll be sure to
I will
put,
have to go check it out. It sounds like you have a lot of great resources there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll definitely make sure to put all of Pam's info in the details. So check that out. And like she said, she can help you wherever you are since she does virtual decluttering and all of that. And truthfully, I think it really can help shift you personally when you're able to start making these changes in your house because it is hard and it is a lot. For me, there's a lot of areas still that I have put off or piled in a big pile, and we will get to that someday. So I think a lot of us struggle with that because we are in a society that tends to collect things too,
Yep,
right? We
yep. We
are
are in a consumer society. I wanted to just share when you were talking about that, it brought out something for me real quick.
very
Barbara Hemphill, who's sort of considered to be the person who started the decluttering organizing industry, she's still with us. She's in her about 90. She says clutter is postponed decisions.
Mm,
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. So that sounds very simple, but you sit with it, you look at stuff in your house, and postpone decisions. Just you were talking about procrastination, Dana. You know that's every time you walk by that, I ought to do that. I ought to
mhm,
do that. Shoulds, oughts, we want to get rid of as many of those as we can. And I will say just one more thing about word choices and the way you speak to yourself.
mhm,
Um, if you do find yourself saying, I should do anything, I'm going to say, um, try out, I could.
mhm.
I could go through that guest room on Saturday. To me, it has a completely different energy. Um, so, yeah,
I
that's
agree
a
with
big
that.
one for me.
Andrea and I have a mutual friend. His name's Danny, and he always says, like, whenever he says the word should, he's like, I'm going to change that because I'm not going to shit all over myself.
Yes, yep, yep,
Because he knows, like, it just brings in an energy when he uses that word. And he's like, never mind, I'm not going to shit all over myself. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And depending on how you were brought up, you may have you, the listener out there, you might have some really difficult to change thought patterns and ways of speaking to yourself. So I would encourage you to think about where does that voice come from? Whose voice is that? And do I want to claim that? Or
mhm,
am I going to choose my own words and thoughts, which we know are incredibly powerful?
right, right. Do you mind if I ask you a question that's kind of off topic? It is, but it's not. Have you ever read the book Journey Home by Lee Carroll? He channels Cry on.
No.
Okay. So ever since I read that book, I have a whole different thought pattern around holding on to things, because I grew up in a family where my mom held on to every little thing, like, for sentimental reasons or, every family heirloom, like when someone passes, you take on all their stuff,
Yes.
because it's like it has meaning. But after reading that book, I have a whole different frame around that, holding on to stuff because he is on the journey home, to Ascension. And that a storm comes up and the angels are telling him like because he's holding on to like all the pictures, family pictures and his parents stuff and this and that, and they're like you got to let it go because it's all within you anyways, it's all energetically
Yes.
within you and you got to let it go. And he had to make the choice because if he held on to all that stuff he was going to blow away in this like monstrous storm. And then finally he let it go. And then, he was fine. The storm went away and he was fine. And I don't know why, but just this whole topic you're talking about just reminds me of that book and how I have a whole different. So I have been in a purging state right now. And so
Yeah.
I was able to let a lot of that stuff that I've held on to forever go. Cause like I even had newspaper articles from like 1940 that my grandfather held on to all those. And then I held on to all of them and I'm like, why am I holding on to all these? Other than
Yeah.
it reminds me of grandpa. And I'm like, well, I can just think of grandpa when I want to and I can let this go. So,
Yeah. That brings up an image that I think might be useful to some people. And that is if you imagine yourself carrying a backpack
mhm.
and there's things in that backpack that you've intentionally put in that backpack. There's things that have just somehow ended up in there because you thought you might need them. And there's things that other people have put in your backpack,
Mhm.
ancestors, this weight of we need to be good stewards of our stuff, of our grandparents' stuff, and especially people who had grandparents who lived during the Depression. So
Mhm.
anyway, if you think about, okay, I'm trying to get somewhere and I'm trying to maybe get through some doors and go to some new places, and what am I holding on to?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and is everything that I'm holding on to something that I'm really want to continue to carry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Those are,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah. And I bet Dana, for you, did you feel lighter and did you feel better when you were able to actually let go of all of this stuff?
Yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. And me and my sister have laughed because we both have like all kinds of antique china from, from the ancestors from forever ago. And because it is so, because like my family, was pioneers here in Colorado. So I have all their china from like the 1800s, and I'm like, I feel so bad letting this go, but I still intend to do that because both me and my sister are like, we're never going to use it. Why are we like lugging it around from one house to another?
Yeah.
And none of the kids want it. Like
Yes.
kids
Yes.
just aren't into antiques these days.
Mm-mm.
They've come along a lot further than us, but uh, so I do need to like find good antique dealer. Oh, maybe I should find out from you, Pam. Antique dealer places to unload because I want it. If people really enjoy that, I want them to have it instead of it just sitting in a box in my house.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but if there's any museums or anything, but there might even be somewhere where it could go
Okay.
for something like that. But yeah, just sometimes I let go of a table that my father somebody owed him money and they gave him this nice oak clawfoot table. It was painted black. My brother refinished it, so it was sort of special to me. But I gave it to my son. They got ready to leave town. I saw it sitting out at the dumpster, right? So what did I do? I reclaimed it. I did not need it. I did not need it, but I just gave it to someone on the listserv. I mean, I just literally gave it away. She was thrilled. She refinished things. I don't know what she was going to do with it, but it was nice to actually be able to give it to someone who I knew appreciated it, and you don't always get to have that.
That's how I feel. I'm like, if someone wants it, like that old saying, right? Someone's trash is another person's treasure.
Yeah.
I'm like, if someone can love and appreciate it, then I would rather them have it than it just me holding on to it just to hold on to it and or, just throw it away. So,
Mm.
Yeah, I like to, and I encourage clients to do this too. Just if it's something that I'm going to give to a thrift store, I like to imagine someone, walking around the thrift store with their friend, they're treasure hunting, and their friend goes, "Ooh, look, this is just perfect for you." That helps me let go of things that are not perfect for me.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Pam, you had done something before coming on. Did you want to close with
Uh,
that?
with the card.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I pulled a card. This is from a Sacred Destiny deck by Denise Lynn, who I love. She does a lot of feng shui stuff. And the card that I just happened to pull was Purification.
Perfect.
Love that.
And, I think there's so many ways that one can purify, um, but that's just something to ponder.
Yes. Yes. Well, and I think of as we release, as we cleanse, we purify. We
Hmm.
purify inside too. So
Yes,
love
exactly. Good way to end.
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So Pam, thank you so much for being
Yes, thank you.
It
a
was fun.
Good.
Yep.
I really enjoyed this too. And folks, make sure to read inside the description to get Pam's information and learn more about her because, like she said, she has a wonderful, like, a huge amount of offerings, and information and tidbits to really help. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for
Yeah.
listening, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will be back soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pam. Thanks, Andrea. Bye.
Bye-bye.